Thanks, Steve. And with that, it gives me great pleasure to hand over to Maria, who's going to share for 15 minutes or so on step one. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. My name's Maria and I'm an addict.
Hi, Maria.
Thanks. I'm nervous. I love you too. Don't make me cry. Even if I did start crying, I can handle that stuff today. I was in the rooms for 4 years with a desire to stop using, and I can remember really wanting to come to this convention for many, many years, and my disease wouldn't let me. It didn't matter that people were offering to pay for me, it didn't matter that sponsors I had at the time were saying, I will support you, I will hold you. My fear of not being able to use, I couldn't get to this convention. So for me to be sat here, I came last year, last year was my first convention at the London Convention, and I can remember trying to read the How It Works, and I messed it up about 3 times as I was reading the How It Works. So for me to be sharing at the London Convention, it's a privilege and it's an honour, and on a step as well. I'm so grateful to be sat in the London Convention doing this share. What does the disease of addiction mean to me? That first question, you know, and I think, you know, I never really had problem with admitting that I was an addict, but to actually admit was my first bit of honesty that had probably come out of my mouth since I was about 6 years old. To admit all this stuff, and I've done 2 step ones, and both people are in the room that I've read my step ones to. And both of them were quite different as well. And my disease, it's centred in my thinking. And when I'm in that, when I'm in that obsession, that compulsion, I am self-centred to the core. I don't care who I hurt. It can be my children, my family, and myself. I'm not nice when I use drugs. At all. I'm quite horrible, and I see my step one doesn't just show me, it shows me so much wreckage, carnage, the denial bit in there. I could have been, the amount of times I've sat in prison and convinced myself I'm not going to use when I get out. I could have put my hand on a lie detector test, and I'm telling you, it probably would have passed, because that is how much of I believed my own lies, and I'd be out the gate, coming out of the jail from Holloway and going into the off licence and getting a beer. But my denial was I weren't an alcoholic. I was a drug addict. If you'd have told me I was an alcoholic, I wouldn't have accepted it. And alcohol was the first thing I picked up, and nearly the last. I put the alcohol down, and 11 days later I come off the methadone. I'm 22 months clean today. You bastards. The isolation my disease took. I was always isolated, and I hit many rock bottoms. But if the first isolation I ever experienced was prison, and then psychiatric hospitals. I could be with loads of different people, but I'd be isolated in my thinking, just how I'm going to get my drugs, what I'm going to do. I wouldn't care if they were clucking, it'd be about me and wanting to get my drugs. But it took me to such a dark place. The end of my using lasted about 5 years, using against my will. I used to sit there in my flat on my own, smoking crack, crying that I did not want this crack, trying to get alcohol in me, dry wrenching. Don't want it, but I have to get it in. And in that isolation, so much fear. But thank God for that gift of desperation, because that is what brought me back to the rooms. I was so desperate by the end of it. Don't want to go back there. My powerlessness. I'd say I'm powerless when I'm out on a red light area at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to find a punter. That's my powerlessness. That's where my disease takes me.
Sorry.
I can convince myself, even though I've got loads of warrants out, and I'm known by the security guards in the high street, that I can still go grafting and I won't get nicked. I'm just never in any. There's no reality. I don't see reality. I blamed everybody for my using. My husband gave me heroin and told me it was cannabis resin. So for 20 years it was his fault that I smoked heroin. It's not his fault at all, because before that I took LSD, ecstasy, weed, alcohol again. And in that set one, that shows me the blame, the justification, it's me. I had a choice. I put that first one in me. And my set one also shows me, but really it says it in the basic text. The substance really isn't my problem, it's Marie. My disease manifests in every area. It can be food, it can be sex, it can be shopping, anything that changes the way I feel. And I cannot use in moderation. It shows me that. I can't put one in me. I don't know how to stop. That obsession comes on me, and once that obsession's on me, I'm not stopping until I get my drugs. It's painful. And writing about my rock bottom is horrific. That's what stops me going out there. That is daily. I don't write my steps. I try to the best of my ability to live my steps. And life can get hard in recovery, and what I do when it gets hard, I will remember that rock bottom. And if I put one in me now, I don't think I would get back, because there were suicide attempts every other day. I didn't want to live, but deep down I didn't want to die either, because I have children. And that's a painful place to be. Like I'm sure all of you in this room know. What I needed to work my step one as well was a sponsor I could trust. I didn't even trust myself, let alone another human being. And my sponsor is amazing. She's in this room now, and I trust that woman with my life. And I believe in my first step one, I put my only reservation was finding a female sponsor. But that person helped me work through that, and that was how I was able to go out and get a female sponsor, and she's amazing, and she's got me to today. I remember writing my step one and getting to the surrender bit and just seeing, I can see it as I say it, surrender in big black letters. I was defeated, and to admit surrender, you've got to admit you're defeated. And I was defeated, and just breathing a sigh of relief as soon as I see that surrender. And thinking, if I do this every day, which I do, don't always get it over people. I struggle with the people bit, like people, places and things. I can get that I'm powerless over things and places and the drugs, but sometimes I struggle a bit with people. If somebody's caused me pain, it takes a little bit of time for me to let go of that pain. But I'm learning to love people that hurt me as well. Just love them anyway. You know, we're all recovering. We all recover at different rates. So if people hurt you, just love them. And my sponsor gave me that tool. Should be my mother, really. She suffers from this disease, and I'm just starting that process of forgiving my mum. I'm seeing that she suffers from this disease, and how I was treated was how I treated my children. So I can't really judge her. And it's getting better. So for me to surrender, it was to admit defeat. It was to throw my hands up, because Marie knew everything. Marie thought she knew everything. Her thinking, my thinking shit, and ask for help and admit that I don't know everything, and I still don't know everything. I still have to ask. You know, I ring my sponsor, I think, near on every day, especially at the moment, because I've got a lot of stuff going on in my life. And I do what she suggests. When my sponsor suggests something to me, I don't dissect it. I don't, you know, she's a long time in, and I know whatever she tells me, that if I do this stuff, I'll be okay, and it works. I just went through some rejection stuff with a man, and I had to reaffirm my 1 and my 2 around this stuff, and it was her that gave me the tool to love him anyway, and that's only just happened, and that is all through. And also see I have a part in a lot of stuff. I see that in step 1 as well. Before even getting to my 4, I see I have a huge part to play in things, which isn't nice to read, especially when I can do it in recovery as well, because I don't have a perfect recovery. I make a lot of mistakes, but if I don't make mistakes, there's no room for growth. I need to make mistakes, and but the thing is, this is the key, I need to learn by them so I don't do them again. I don't think there's really much more. It feels like I've missed that. If people are sitting there thinking, how does it look like she's doing a step 1 share and she looks like she's been in a crack house for a week? I put this juniper oil on my hair, and this is the type of addict I am. It said 2 drops on the bottle, I did 10. That is, I don't know when to stop, even with juniper oils. Yeah. I did wash my hair this morning. Oh, dear. But I just want to touch quickly what NA's given to me. When I came into recovery, I wasn't seeing my children, and I hadn't seen them. And then after 3 months, I got supervised contact in a contact centre. And by keep doing the next right thing, I got contact in the community. By keep doing the next right thing, I went to court on my own without a solicitor, and I used the spiritual principles, this programme. I had to be honest to myself and them that, do you know what, and I had to take that off that judge, and it hurt. He gave me my truth, and it really hurt. But I had to sit there and say, do you know what, you're right. I deserve a chance, and I had to keep and I kept an open mind in that court that I might not get what I want, and I might get what I want, but whatever, it's not in my hands. And the willingness not to react when he gave me my truth. By doing that, I came off supervised contact. I had my daughter overnight. Oh my God. For the first time, Saturday just gone. That is the biggest thing this programme has given me, to have my children back in my life. I used to sit in meetings and in my treatment centre, crying my eyes out, could not see the woods through the trees, but people kept telling me, and having faith in what they said, if you keep doing what you're doing, we promise they will come back. This programme only promises freedom from active addiction. It's given me so much more. Friends, I have friends today. I didn't have friends in my youth. I only wanted to be your friend if you had something for me. I have genuine friendships today. I have a job. I have a roof over my head that I'm not scared it's going to be taken off me because I'm spending the rent money on crack. How long have I been sharing for? And I have a higher power in my life. I was so arrogant when I was around with desire, and I wouldn't listen. I thought you was all nuts talking about this higher power thing. I really did. I genuinely thought everyone in NA was crazy. Well, we are all crazy. But I have a higher power in my life, and I just moved from London to Birmingham. I took a massive leap of faith. I know that's going into step 3 stuff. But my life has changed dramatically from that caged animal that I was like a caged animal by the end of my using. I'm free now, and I think what this programme has given me, other than my kids, is peace of mind. I go to bed with peace of mind today, and that's priceless to me. Peace of mind, it's amazing. And I just want to thank everybody that's come and supported me in here today. You all know you are. I'll leave it there.
Thanks for that.
Addict who still suffers.
Thanks, Danny. And it gives me great pleasure to hand over to Aid, who's going to share for 15 or 20 minutes on Tradition 1. Thanks, Aid.
I'm Aid, I'm an addict. Also, some know me as Ozzy, but I'm introducing myself as Aid as an addict. I'd just like to thank the convention committee asking me to share, and I am nervous, and more as Marie was getting to the end of the share, that instinct just to go. It's just like, you know, all the excitement and pleasure and the build up to come here, near its end, I just think, should I just slip out the door, should I just go? You know, that feeling sort of just dissipated sort of through time and recovery, but I still kind of get that instinct, and I would be lying if I said I wouldn't. There's so much of this tradition to fit into 15 minutes, and I've got loads of notes. I've learned through years to make bullet points, because, you know, if I'm doing topic shares, I'll end up talking about gardening or fishing, you know, buying a new washing machine or something. So I get annoyed about other people going off on topics. So I've learned that, you know, I'm here to share around a certain topic, and so, and also I'm really dyslexic and I can't retain written stuff, films or music, so I have to write stuff down, or my addict mind will just make it up. So, and the people who know me, I'm really good at that. You know, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on NA unity. I've got a little snippet of our reading cards, because I think it's so prevalent for when I first come to Narcotics Anonymous. And you know, I've always shared, if you're new, you know, you're back off a relapse, first convention, this would probably sound like a foreign language. You know, when I come to Narcotics Anonymous, I don't know a language I know now. You know, I knew about who, what, where, when, the ways and means, and finding more. So I kind of sat in meetings, you know, when they talk about looking for the similarities and differences, I spent years looking at differences. You know, I spent years of going to institutions and comparing myself with others, and comparing that I wasn't even an addict, I didn't have a problem, I hadn't had this consequence, and etc., etc. And I spent a long time. Maybe if somebody said, look, you're not going to identify with anything I say because it's a different language, and I just didn't kind of understand. So I'm going to read this out, and it's so prevalent. Understanding these traditions comes slowly over a period of time. We pick up information as we talk to members and various groups. It usually isn't until we get involved with service that someone points out that personal recovery depends on NA unity, and that unity depends on how well we follow the traditions. The 12 traditions of NA are non-negotiable. They're the guidelines that keeps our fellowship alive and free. When I got clean, that did not make any sense to me. Most of the readings didn't make any sense to me. You know, when I come to NA, I had nowhere else to go. You know, the golden years are long gone, and I spent about a period of 4 years of wanting to use and not wanting to use, and you know, what I've seen through the years is the fellowship grow and kind of mature, and the service structure kind of change, and this is some of the language you might not understand. And again, what I'd done this time when I got clean, I asked people questions. You know, I asked lots of questions. I'm sure I was just about to swear then. I was being reminded not to swear. I do tend to swear quite a lot. You know, I come in beaten, destroyed, you know, the life skills of an animal, and I get clean and I think I know everything. You know, I suffer from know-it-allism. You know, I start telling everybody how to recover and how to sponsor and, you know, how to serve and how you do this and stuff. And, you know, I'm 30 days clean. You know, and so my experience, you know, I've learned really slowly over a period of time around the traditions, and you know, it's why it says in there is it talks about service, and you know, I'm wholly grateful, you know, and I wholly believe every fibre of my body is my duty to serve in this fellowship to my dying day. Again, I didn't quite grasp that when I got clean. Do you know what I mean? When I got clean, I was so self-centred. It was all about me and my victim, my self-pity, and all that kind of stuff. But you know, by coming to regular meetings, getting a sponsor, you know, putting down the spoon, not picking up the fork, but picking up the pen. I picked up the spoon now, you know, getting involved in service. You know, I kind of understand. You know, when I got clean, the world owed me. You know, I've been dealt a bad hand and all this kind of mad, crazy thought process. And, you know, I've learned over a period of time, I'm indebted. You know, and again, I've learned just for today. You know, this program just for today. You know, I keep coming back to this fellowship. You know, and for the last few years, it is my duty. You know, I owe my whole life to Narcotics Anonymous. You know, I've never taken credit, only in my self-centered kind of self. Everything I've got in my life is due to my predecessors, the people who went before me, the people who attend the meeting, my sponsor, the steps, the traditions, the concepts. And again, this has taken a long period of time of keep coming back, serving, writing steps, traditions, concepts and stuff. My experience of my addiction, I didn't really kind of manage anything really productive, positive, and I didn't really achieve stuff except for completions of institutions, and that's probably the kind of the highlight of that sort of the golden years and the you know the step one kind of stuff. And you know, I mean, indebted to the people that served in this fellowship, that I kind of turned up and they hugged me and they welcomed me, you know, and I think one of the most important things in this fellowship is keep coming back. You know, in my recovery and relapse for a 4-year period, I was never turned away. I was never told not to come back. Getting quite emotional now. I was told just to keep coming back. You know, and you know, I was killed with love. You know, this fellowship loved me. You know, until I could love myself, which took quite a long time. I'm shaking with emotion. You know, I can remember the times that I just used to think, I can't get this. You know, I'm different. I can't get this, and I just did not understand. And the unity shown by these members was incredible. Words cannot describe these people that I'd come to a meeting, they would hug me and make me a cup of tea and give me some biscuits and stuff. And I went to meetings a long time using Traditions 3 stuff. You know, I had a desire, I couldn't stop. And I still never turned away. A few members sort of told me, you know, maybe come back clean, mate. Maybe stay awake for the meeting and all that kind of stuff. You know, and that seed of love, you know, there's a lot of us from our area, Weymouth, you know, my own group, Clean and Crazy, meeting on Tuesday, 7:30, Weymouth Baptist Church. You know, I've just shown so much love by this fellowship. You know, this tradition's huge, and in 15 minutes it's really hard to kind of cram so much of this stuff. And you know, I feel so much love in this fellowship. You know, I've had so many difficult things happen in this in my recovery. You know, I've lost my mum, my brother, my nan. The list of loss. You know, I've just lost a best mate 2 days ago. You know, and this fellowship has carried me through. I've had untold health conditions. I've still got health conditions. I've got major operation the 28th of April. This fellowship loves me. You know, when the chips are down, I'm feeling low, and I think, oh, you know, here we go. Do you know what? This fellowship, it gets underneath me and it carries me. You know, I've had so much happen, and this fellowship has just continually loved me, carried me, listened to me. You know, I was saying to Tony on the way here, and I just wrote my step 6, and I thought my sponsor would be there with a shotgun pointing out these defects, and he just killed me with love. You know, I really just needed some love. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't really happy. I was full of real kind of guilt and shame around these kind of behaviours, and my sponsor just killed me with love. He just accepted me. You know, and it was such a major experience for me that, you know, I thought he's going to be hard on me, and oh God, here we go. But it was just so non-judgmental, so accepting, and so full of love. And I've learned, you know, through a long period of time, I just keep coming back to meetings. You know, and it talked about in Tradition 1 about carrying this message. What I've learned, you know, it is my duty to serve, it is my duty to be responsible, you know, and being a role model in the fellowship. You know, my life is great. Absolutely, you know, words cannot describe how my life is at this present time. You know, and I got a sponsor. You know, I started working with Steps. You know, I got commitments. You know, I've had an own group. This one for 7 years. You know, And I remember getting clean. I remember always looking up to the sky. I think I spent a lot of my usage, my addiction, looking up to the sky going, this is the last one, never doing this stuff again. And I remember getting clean going, is this it? Is this it? It's not like I've just come from LA and flashing lights everywhere. It's just like, and I thought this was it, you know, Churchill's for the rest of my life. You know, it's like, is this what's on offer? And you know, I enjoy it. You know, it's not a religious program, but you know, that we've got great public relations with the churches, and you know, I just love the fellowship. I absolutely love it with a dying passion. You know, I love the unity. You know, I come to conventions and then I just start thinking, what happens if everybody uses? What would go on? You know, this weekend will be full of love and acceptance. You know, be full of unity, be full of passion, be full of gratitude. You know, what I've learned is really important. These traditions protect the fellowship, Narcotics Anonymous, from us. You know, if we don't kind of live and breathe these traditions, and what I also know about these traditions, it's a lonely place. You know, if you've been around sometime, maybe you're not, and you start, you know, you live and breathe, it's a really lonely place, these traditions. You know, you can be in group consciences. I've been in steering meetings, you know, kind of regional meetings, and you try and practice this stuff from our literature, and it's a really lonely place. You know, but I stick by my guns, I live by the sword, I die by the sword. You know, and I've always shared it because, you know, I've been in group consciences, and this is, you know, agreeing and disagreeing, you know, disunity, disharmony, you know, kind of had so many experiences in this fellowship, you know, but this is for the better good. You know, this is about sort of carrying the messages. You know, I've had to put my stuff, I was going to swear then, I just caught that. I've put my stuff to the side, you know, my defects and kind of stuff, and kind of merged with other people. And, you know, this is about carrying the message. This is about NA as a whole. This is not about me, my opinions, what I think is good for the group and this kind of stuff. And I'm going to finish on, I was in the steering meeting about, it was probably 3 weeks ago. I've sort of tailored down some of my experiences because we kind of agreed they might not be spiritual because they might break people's anonymity. So I felt I was living and breathing these traditions, also the concepts in this kind of stuff. And you know, I put a proposal in, and I put what I believe within the traditions and concepts, and the whole committee agreed against me. And I might just be self-righteous, I might just be really arrogant, but, you know, my feeling is it will bite them on the backside without swearing. You know, I wholly believe, go by this literature, you know, I go by the concepts, you know, they're there for us, they're there to protect NA. Because if we don't agree and kind of work for the better good, we will end up imploding and destroying ourselves. And I need you guys. I need you. I can't do this stuff on my own. You know, I've learned that I need you all. Left on my own devices, I'm not in good company for too long. Tradition is really important. I'm really, really, really excited for the guiding principles coming out. You know, I'm really excited for this working guide. You know, there's some huge kind of changes when sort of new NA literature comes out. I'm not here to promote it, by the way, but I'm really excited. You know, there's some of us in the room that done a traditions working guide, an old member. It wasn't approved literature, but there was a few of us in this room that spent 13 months, all service junkies together, flying at each other with defects and experience, and it was such a amazing growing experience. And I'm just going to finish. I've said that about 2 minutes ago, but tomorrow at 3:45, I think room 5, Fellowship Development, are putting on a workshop, inappropriate and appropriate behaviour, and this is a lot of stuff me and Tony within the UK Fellowship Development have been doing, you know, all around the place and in Europe and stuff, and again, in committee meetings, you know, we kind of work within this kind of tradition for the better good, you know, and to carry this message and to help, you know, kind of support rural areas, and the list goes on. So if you're new in there, just keep coming back. Probably talked a load of kind of weird, kind of strange stuff in here, but you know, the most important thing, you know, keep coming back to this fellowship. You know, feel embrace the love. You know, kind of let us love you till you can kind of love yourself. And I'll leave it there. Thanks.
Thanks, Amy.